We have kind of a flashback episode of Dave Day today as we remember some of our favorite local interviews with athletes from this past high school sports season. I'll see you after this. Dave, I want to talk about some of the characters from this past season. We get to interview some athletes every year, a lot of athletes every year, and it's always a joy. Some of them, it's just so much fun sometimes when you talk with the athletes, and you get to know them a little bit more. I wanted to talk about kind of what you remembered from this year. I'll start with me, though, Dave. I remember sitting down, I did an in-depth interview with Tina Caparel, state champion in cross country, also a silver medal in track. And Dave, she told me about her passion for animals, how she wants to be a veterinarian, and she had a really funny story about how she started running at these little races near Philadelphia. She was very young, and her dad actually had to stand near the finish line and encourage her to run to him. And I was like, Tina, were they competitive? And she was like, oh yeah, I won $3. I won that race. You know, you got $3 and a ribbon. So a champion since she was little. And then when I talked with Jolie Grula, Hazelton Area High School basketball, Dave, and also track and field star, I found out his musical talent and about how he knows how to play a didgeridoo. So you get to know these athletes a little bit more. They're very interesting people. Anything stick out for you this year?
Yeah, I think when I got an opportunity to meet the tennis team last year, the girls' tennis team, they're on their way to winning their first sub-regional title, getting to play in the state tournament, and Stephanie Mazurek and Lily Nowak, Sophia Lawson, they were all great people, Adriana Bowman too. I mean, they're just great people. I mean, they were just fun to be around, and you know, I got to spend a few weekday afternoons in Kirby Park and watching them play, you know, in all kinds of weather too. I mean, it started with a real hot day when Lily Nowak won a match against a girl from North Pocono to get her team into the district finals as a team for the first time, and the match just went on and on and on, and you could see Lily getting frustrated and get sweating. It was a really hot day for an October match, but she pulled through that, and she was just a very matter of fact, and you know, she said how tired she was after the match, but she put her heart, soul into that match for her teammates' sake, and you know, for her sake, and they went on to win, and it's just something you remember because that's what sports is all about.
So the 2018 Hazelton Area Sports Hall of Fame class was announced. Check it out in the standard speaker. A few names, Dave, that definitely pop out: Nate Eachus, Josh Heck, great backs for the Hazelton Area High School. I wanted to talk about Ryan Nensteel. Dave, I played against him in the CYO. We graduated same year. In that range, at least 97 in grade school. Now, he played for St. Joe's. I went to Holy Spirit Academy. That was a big rivalry, and he obviously is one of the best players in the league, Dave, and I remember being terrified going up against him. I mean, I'm still the same height I was in sixth grade. He was a tall, talented player, and then this happened. We ended up on the same all-star team, and he made everybody feel so comfortable on that team. Even the less talented players like me, he calmed us all down. And actually, my only bucket in that entire game came from an assist from Ryan Nensteel. So that's just how I remember him. Great team player. I mean, that one time I got to interact with him, he will be honored. And he passed away, if I'm correct as well. So he'll be honored. His brother was honored last year.
Yeah, Ryan was an outstanding basketball player, not only at the CYO level, but he went on to Weatherly High School, helped lead that team to a district championship back in the early 2000s, and a sensational player. Went on to the college level, can pull up from anywhere and hit shots, and like you said, he grew to be about 6'5", and like I said, pull up from beyond half court, and it was within his range, and unfortunately passed away much too young, and he's going to be remembered this year. I'm sure his brother will have something to say about him too, because the two were very close, and their late father too, who was very instrumental in their development as basketball players too. Had a lot of conversations with Bob Sr. A great family, great young men too. I know his brother Bob's turned out to a great young man. I know Ryan was too, and unfortunately passed too young for us.
And Dave, some other people I noticed, your daughter, Jillian Seaman, will be inducted, and she has an interesting story if you read the first article that just mentions the Hall of Fame, going from track standout and now doing national weightlifting competition. So her story, very interesting. And you mentioned John D'Agostino Sr., who gets credit in the article for helping mold the Hazelton Area High School softball program, very successful. And you said his son is going in as well?
Yeah, I mean, I go back with Dag a long time. He was my history teacher as a junior in high school, and always interesting too, talking about world cultures. That's what I had a class for. But he always had time after class to talk sports, and I always found him very interesting. After that, I got to know him a little bit. I played a little bit of softball in the area, and he was an umpire, and I worked at the softball complex up in Drifton, and he was always around too, so I got to know him a little bit. And then as I became a sports writer, him bringing in his game results from the Hazelton and then Hazelton area softball teams, everything well thought out, just typical him, all spelled out, and he was always good for a ribbon too. He was always a guy that you could exchange jabs with, a fun guy to be around, and same thing with his son too. Dag Jr. was outstanding baseball player at Hazelton and Hazelton Area High School, outstanding basketball player, part of the state final team in 1993, and just and a proud Penn Stater because he went on to play baseball at Penn State and was part of their first Big Ten teams at Penn State too, and he got to have a serious career there. So, I'm looking forward to seeing both of them get inducted. They're both well-deserving, and as is the rest of the class.
Yeah, check out the rest of the class, and of course, periodically in the Standard Speaker. In fact, you said you even started with the first one. They will feature each member, each inductee of this year's Hazelton Area Sports Hall of Fame class.